What's up, everybody? I am bringing back another build video. It is an overdue video. I said I was going to do it a while ago. I finally knocked it out. So I am bringing you guys the Sacred Fist tank, monk tank. I did a monk video, or a monk tank video, a pure monk, a couple months back, and wanted to compare it to Sacred Fist. Eventually, when Sacred Fist came out, so I finally have leveled up the Sacred Fist tank, and leveling wasn't fun, but the end game was pretty fun. So let's dive into the build. So I'm going to pull this party sheet up just for the first little bit here. Shows I went human, 18 Sacred Fist, 2 monk. My starting stats were 14 dex, 16 con, 14 wisdom, 16 charisma, and base for intel and strength. My feat path, which I'm going to talk about feats a little more here, but if you want to see the exact path, here's a chance to see the order I took them in. But let's jump back over to the game side. So overall, as a snapshot of the character sheet here, I think it went pretty well. It was a fun build. You got almost 50 and your three off stats of dex, charisma, and wisdom, and I really could get 50 if I wanted to with my charisma. You're at an 88 con. You've got your con stance on, so when you throw on tensors or a little more buffs, you're in that 90, closer to 100 range. But let's break it down. So leveling, pretty easy. Grab your 2 monk relatively early. You need your second monk by level 6 so that you can take your feats. I'm going to switch back real quick just to explain that. Or actually level 12, sorry. So level 12 you need your second monk so that you can take your level 6 monk stance. Feat wise, pretty straightforward. Toughness, because we're going to be a tank. Dodge, if I could have figured out how to fit in quicken spell somewhere in here, I would have. But I believe quicken spell still makes you paladin level 4 before you can take it, and it just wouldn't fit anywhere else because I needed my other feats further down. So I did take empower healing. I took the full 2-weapon fighting feat line, 2-weapon fighting, improved 2-weapon fighting, and greater 2-weapon fighting. I did take 2-weapon defense for the MRR cap increase, combat expertise for some extra AC, and then the rest is pretty straightforward. Like I said, you take the monk stances when you can, perfect 2-weapon fighting, epic toughness. Level 25 feat's the one where I wasn't sure. I took Guardian Angel. I thought about taking the positive spell heal amp feat. Can't think of the name off the top of my head. I think I ended up taking Guardian Angel on the build. Epic DR, Defy, Warding, Bulwark. For your level 30 feat, you take Celestia for the hit points, and Legendary Toughness at 31. So let's break down the action points. So for our action points, for human, we grab some extra con. We do grab an extra defense boost. I couldn't really decide on a race. I didn't want to go Asmir, however you say it, because that stance gives you sacred hit points, and you're going to get your sacred hit points out of your level 18 sacred defender. So I went human for extra heal amp, a little extra con, and then extra stats while I have action boosts on, because this is a build that benefits from all 4 of these stats. So I grabbed them some extra. Sacred Fist, you probably could do less with this tree if you really wanted to, but it is a Sacred Fist build, so I wanted to at least put some points in there. So really I just aim to get that greater restore on your removed diseases. So a little extra offhand hit, some extra hit and damage with your hand wraps, and movement speed for paladin levels. Sacred Defender, your real tree here. So core is all the way through 18, pretty obvious. You get extra heal amp, lay on hands, physical and magic resistance rating, and hit points. So level 18 capstone, it has everything. Some extra lay on hands here, some extra PR and MRR here, and then threat generation here. Again, I put 1 point into the action boost just so I've got more action boost for more stat increases. Some extra melee threat generation here, which ended up not being overly useful as this build does no damage. I was hoping it might do a little bit, it does none, but it still was fun. Extra AC, extra con, extra hit points, more con, more movement speed, and then up here some extra lay on hands. This was the only outlier. You only have to put 1 point into this Divine Revelation to get your 100 hit points. I ended up with 1 extra action point, so I threw a second point in here, but you only need 1 hit point in here. Sacred Shield for the exceptional armor class. And then I did Radiant Service for a little bit extra healing. I don't use it as much as I thought I would, but it was still fun to have. So all the way up to Energy Burst, and then some just extra positive heal chance there. My Monk Tree is where I get my Key Shout. You could also grab it from here if you wanted to, but I was trying to get to the level 3, so I grabbed the extra 20 PRR while centered from here. As well as I do like this Knock on the Sky attack for raid bosses, as it does reduce their physical damage by up to 20% once you stack it up. So that is my action points. I had one extra universal, so I put it into Inquiz, but that is the action points of it. So going into the Epic Destinies, again, not a huge shock here. Unyielding Sentinel is going to get most of our points, and a lot does gel with this build. You get hit points all throughout your bottom here. This is a nice Epic Strike in terms of stacking PRR and MRR. Well, really just PRR, because our MRR gets capped out at 100, but it stacks our PRR as we're fighting bosses. I do still use the Drifting Lotus a lot for my Epic Strike if when questing. Sorry, mumbled there. When questing, as I do, the stun is still pretty reliable. It's in the 90s when I'm buffed up. Not great, but not bad. But back to Sacred or Unyielding Sentinel. Extra threat or hate generation. Renewal, as I throw a lot out there. Our Sentinel stance. Lay on Hands. I know we already have Lay on Hands, but this lets you go off Constitution instead of Charisma. And since Con's our main stat, that's useful. And then more into the stance. I had an extra point here, so I put it into the Fray. I think that could be dropped if you don't have an extra point. Lay on Hands regenerate. Again, if you don't have enough points, you could put just one in here, so they do regenerate, even though it'd be less. Some extra AC, some extra PRR, and this is also why we take Bulwark, because it gives an extra 10 PRR if we have Bulwark here. And then this was also a dump. If you don't have enough points as I do, you could dump this one here. This was just some hit points because I had some extra points. This ends up get this top tree, Strength of Vitality, ends up giving us 20% insight to hit points. Our Epic Moment for Undying Vanguard. Our Defiant Resilience, because we do take the Defiant Warding feat, so this does give us our 5% quality hit points. And then I took this because it is an AoE on my Lay on Hands. Since my Lay on Hands goes off of Paladin level and Con, it's a pretty high heal. And since I'm normally in the middle of stuff, I use this pretty often. R10, I just cast it myself, even though it's not as useful on myself. It heals everybody around me. And then for my second tree, I went into Grandmaster of Flowers, got some extra stun DC. Like I said, the Drifting Lotus for the stun while I'm questing. Grabbed. This was my only mistake. I never went back and fixed it. I should have. This is supposed to have 3 points in it. I just goofed and put 2 points on accident. But you should have 3 points in this and only 1 point in your water stance. And I've got 3 points in the wind for some extra dodge chance, and the AC is my dodge chance. I'm not wearing enough dodge right now to max it out, so this helps. And then this just for the stun on the Drifting Lotus. Now my third tree here is kind of what I had an idea when I wanted to make the build. I essentially level this through the Acid, Thorn, all the way up to get your Shard Storm, to get your, at its core, Thorn. When you cast this, it gives you 25% hit point shield. As you can see, we have a decent amount of hit points, so this ends up being quite useful. And it's got a cooldown of 20 seconds, and the hit points last for 12, so you can essentially keep up the hit points 12 seconds out of every 20, so 60% uptime. Pretty nice. And you do get Cocoon out of here, a little extra Con, but it's really for the shield. So the build itself, really fun raid tank build, because most raids aren't on Reaper, and you can keep yourself healed quite a bit through renewal. You've got your Lay on Hands here, you've got Cocoon, you've got a free cure mod from your Radiant Server tree that you're allowed to put your Empower on for free. And you have your Energy Burst. So you've got quite a few different little heals. The renewal also ticks for about 600 to 800 per tick when you cast on yourself. So it is a fun build that way. Playing Reaper 10, also I thought pretty fun. You go in, you use your Key Shout, and then you can either choose whether or not you want to try to stun with the Drifting Lotus, or you want to put on your or if you want an extra PR from your Celestial Mandate, and you can throw your shield on. You do get a lot of heal potential with having the shield extra because you can put Cocoon on, and Cocoon heals you while its shield is on for the 150. And then if you throw your Thorn Shardstorm shield on top of it, the Shardstorm shield has to come off first, so the Cocoon actually gets a chance to heal you. That's a nice little work together thing since Cocoon only heals you when its shield is on. But really fun build. I've got some R10 gameplay and some raid gameplay to upload as well. The R10 gameplay is pretty fun. You turn into a tank slash secondary healer more so than really a fighter. Yeah, you're swinging away, but you really are there for just holding aggro, and then you actually do end up being a pretty decent off heal because you've got 14 lay on hands normally. You've got Cocoon, you've got your energy burst, you've got Cure Mod and Renewal. So you really can heal quite a bit, as you'll see in some of that gameplay. And you've got your shield to help keep you alive and get time for you to heal as well. And then, like I said, you just keep your action boost going for the extra stats as you get them, because it does give us 12 stat points essentially for one action boost. So it's pretty cool. It really is a synergizing build. I'm going to go over all the synergizing things real quick. I went through feats already. I did go Guardian Angel. No surprises, no deviations from the sheet I showed you earlier. Spell wise, nothing too outstandingly important here. You can pick up the free Resurrection and Raise Dead spells. Angel Skin gives you extra PRR. That's really the only crucial one. I took Death Ward just to have Death Ward. I took Key Explosion while I was leveling. That was the other thing I was going to talk about real quick. Leveling wise, you are a tank, so it sucks. So I leveled pretty much to, I think, about 28 as a pure Sacred Fist, like tree, like offensive Sacred Fist. And then once I got to 28, I switched it over. It doesn't work perfect because you've already taken the feats you're taking, and your stat points are, you're dumping con, but it was nice overall. And then skill wise, concentration, because that's your intim essentially. I put points into heal for some extra positive spell power, and then Diplo, UMD, a little into balance. Pretty straightforward. Your positive spell power does get up close to, what's that up at, 475, so it gets close up to 500 there. So fun build. I'm going to step into Reaper here to show you the stat sheet with Reaper as well, even though I have about 65 Reaper points or so. But overall, fun build. The synergies, like I was going to talk about real quick, sorry for backtracking. So synergy wise, so you've got 10% AC from here, you've got 20% AC from your mountain stance, you've got 10% AC coming from up here. So you do have quite a bit of extra AC that's just being calculated in. I also, gear wise, so I didn't talk about gear. This is a rambling video. I'm going to finish the synergies first. So you have a bunch of extra AC coming in, 60% total. Dodge was the only thing I was talking about. I only am at 23% dodge instead of 26, so on raids I am missing a few percent. That is something I would clean up with my gear and get some extra dodge in there, so I do have that maxed out. Hit point wise, you do have quite a bit of percentage hit points, as I was talking about earlier. So hit point wise, for percentage hit points, you are grabbing 25% from your Tenacious Defense. You're grabbing 10% Sacred from your Glorious Stand. You're grabbing a lot of extra flat hit points, like 100 hit points here. Legendary Toughness giving you 100. Celestial Feat is giving you 150. So a lot going into those multipliers. And then, like I said, in the Unyielding Sentinel, you're grabbing 20% from Insight from up here, 10% for it, and the extra 10% because we're in the mantle. And you're grabbing 5% quality up here. So you've got Confidence hit points, Insight, Quality, and Sacred. So you're hitting all the areas. So just a lot of flat hit points, which is also going to build into your shield. So gear wise, so my gear, forewarning, is pretty basic and outdated for this build. I was trying to compare it to the monk build that I did. So for my gear, when I'm just playing questing, I can run my collective sight for some extra charisma. When I'm R10 questing or raiding, I put on my greenstone goggles to give me some extra concentration. For my armor, I've got Legendary Disciple of the Dawn. It doesn't really offer me too much short of, it's got parrying, it's got profane well-rounded, and it's got dodge slotted into it. That's really what I'm grabbing from it. My cold iron bracers are part of my 7-piece winter set, because the 7-piece winter set gives me just about everything I want while I'm tanking. It gives me artifact to PRR, it gives me heal amp, 10% legendary bonus hit points, 100% threat generation, 4 artifacts to my con, and 15 artifact to AC. So my 7-piece is cold iron bracers, nocturne ring, deep snow boots, and the Prince's Gauntlet acts as a summer and winter piece. My dire bear belt, my legendary cloak of the winter, and my winter court necklace. To get the 2nd piece set for my summer, I do run the Crown of Fireflies. It's got healing lore, devotion, insightful resistance, and insightful magical sheltering, as well as it gets me that 2nd piece of my summer, so I get the 30 artifact MRR as well. The only pieces I didn't mention is I'm running the Celestial Ruby Ring just as a filler because it gives me accuracy, ghostly, dex, and I've got Topaz of Power slotted in there, and stunning. So I've got all these things that help me out. And my trinket is the Blood of Blossoms, which gives me my enhanced key, sheltering, and wisdom, insightful wisdom. My hand wraps I'm using are just the Night Mother hand wraps, so you can definitely find some better hand wraps. Really more so important is the filigree sets. I lost the word there for a second. So the filigree sets here. So I am running a 5-piece of Nastul's Magical Defense, so that gives me that MRR cap increased by 40. That's how I'm getting up to 100 instead of just sitting at 50. I got 10% from the 2-up and fighting defense feat, and another 40 coming from here. So it's nice to have that increased a little bit. It's still not as high as obviously as you want it, but it's nice that it's better than 50. I am running a 3-piece Grandfather set to get to the 5% armor class, as well as 5% PRR. And I ran a 3-piece Blood Feast for some extra con and some PRR as well. Those second 2 sets, you could probably choose what you wanted there. Really, it's just this Nastul's Mystical Defense set is the important one. And it also does give you 100 hit points at the 4-piece as well. So you do get quite a bit out of there. So, a lot of rambling on there, out of order. Didn't mean to do that. Get a chance to see the renewal in action. But, like I said, shield-wise, I mean, that's almost 1,700 right there just for a shield. Outside of Reaper or no buffs. So, outside of Reaper, you're sitting in, 5,600, getting close to 6k hit points. Reaper, just to show you the stat sheet difference. Like I said, now this will determine how many points you have in Reaper. Like I said, I've got about 65, but your con gets up to 92. So when you put on your own buffs, I've got Angel Skin and Tensors. You're at 6,700 hit points, and you can easily shield yourself up over 8,000 with Cocoon and Shardstorm, almost 9,000 hit points. So really fun build. Definitely different style tanking. The monk tank that I did a couple weeks ago, or a couple months ago, was way more interactive in terms of your gameplay. You were trying to swing, use your monk abilities to stun, and that kind of game style play. Where this one, you really are more of a true tank, where you are getting in the middle, intimming. Maybe you're trying to stun, but more so you're almost trying to just tank and heal. So depends on what style you like, but it definitely was fun. So if it's up your street and you want to try something different than the stereotypical shield tank, this was pretty fun. So I'll upload some gameplay videos and let me know what you think. Thank you.